Imagine a league built by the people, for the people. A league dedicated to the economic development of your city. So the question becomes, how good are the 32 teams that play in the minor football league? Well, there's only one way to find out. You have to experience the MFL.
Welcome to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Dr. Richard Myles Sr., Chairman and CEO and founder of the Minor Football League. I want to make sure that everybody understands that COVID-19 is for real. Please wear your face mask and stuff. And I'm not saying that because I just took mine off. And I want everybody to know I'm going about, things the right way. But we have some guests here. First of all, I want to welcome my co-host to the show, Robert Gatewood. How you doing, Mr. Gatewood?
Hey, man.
How you doing? I see what I see that. Lisa's gonna see that and go get mad. Also, I wanna bring on our director of the MFL Dance Team. Lisa, how you doing today? How you doing today, Lisa?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm doing great. How's everyone doing?
Hey,
I didn't bring my mask is over there.
Okay, and I know before we get into things, I know we have a special guest there. We'll make sure Lisa introduce our guest, but we just want to go in a few things. Excuse me. We're excited about the new GM signing. As you know, we're getting things done. Because, if we don't hurry up and get things away in a hurry, because Lisa's going to be mad, because she's ready to move around. I'm not going to move around. I'm 65, and all y'all young people have an opportunity. Y'all can move around. But, Robert, what's going on in terms of this? Robert Gatewood is our money guru and stuff. And, of course, we're going to touch upon about ownership here. And also, we're excited about the different GMs. We're going to talk about that. But I want to say to you, Robert, and we have to just give special kudos to Dr. Freeman. He was on the show in California, and yet still we getting a lot of calls from the media want us to come on shows and stuff, and I'm excited about that. But, the MFL is a laboratory of change. And what we mean by that, we want to bring former players from the field to the front office. Robert, what do you think about that interview? I think Dr. Freeman was tearing it up. What you say?
And Dr. Freeman is on fire. It's his season, like so many other people, Miles. I tell you what's been weird about this period that we're in. It's like you're either way up here or down here. Seems there's no in between. All I would say to everybody is to make sure you're up here, because the middle is gone. Just don't be on the bottom. And you have a lot to do with whether you're going to be up there or down here. So when I look at people like Dr. Freeman and the things he's doing, the great interview, he's getting his honorary degree like yourself. Congratulations again, Dr. Myles. It's their season. And to everybody, let's make sure that we're on the right side of this coin. You can be on the bottom, you can be on the top, but you have a lot to do, a lot to say, a big say-so on what side of this you're going to be on. So much props to Dr. Freeman and what he's doing. Great interview. Great. It's his season. It's his season.
Thank you. And I would say that, and also I would be remiss if I didn't say congratulations, Chaplain Robert Gatewood. You know what I mean? I didn't want to miss that, acknowledge you on that. Great job. But Lisa, everything is falling exactly the way we knew it would. I know you're doing a great job, but you move around. You got a little more, you're more courageous than me, because I'm not going to move around. You came there, Pat came down, and they had to quarantine him, Dr. Freeman, I'm sorry. He came down to D.C. I know you got some updates, and I know you want to fill us in and tell us what's going on with you and getting this dance team together as far as the league?
Yes, hi, and congratulations again to you, Dr. Myles, Robert Gates, and Dr. Freeman. Yeah, I was down in DC and came back. Luckily, I drove, so I did not get quarantined.
Right.
I didn't fly. So I'm planning to head back to DC end of December. I am speaking with Dr. Freeman and going to try to schedule a meeting and head up to Rochester to check out what he has there and start to, get the ball rolling and let the girls know that the dance team is starting. And well, we're going to try to start as much as possible, with obviously so many states being, currently still on the quarantine list. It limits how much travel there can be. And obviously our main concern is to keep everyone safe. So without being able to do this safely, everything will be on hold. We're still moving forward. We're taking calls, we're taking names, we're taking inquiries, but we're not going to set anything until we get the green light from you.
Okay, absolutely. And as you know, I lost a couple of friends to this COVID-19. It is for real. And we want to take, we was one of the first professional leagues say, we're not going to go because, I say the same thing. We don't know what this virus is. We know we don't have a cure for it. And if you caught it, can you catch it again? So these are the type of things, questions need to be answered by, Dr. Fauci. We listen to what he's saying. We're not listening to what politicians saying because we understand politics are politics, as you know, Robert. We like to stay away from that. But you do have a guest, and without further ado, I'd like for you to introduce him, Lisa, to MFL Nation.
Yes, hi. With so much questions about the COVID, and I know the GMs as well as myself and you and everyone with the MFL wanting to get going. There's still so many questions with the COVID and what might be some of the best approaches. We see some people starting to open up. So I thought it would be great to bring in some people who are actually out in the field doing the testing and seeing what's coming in and where from. And these are some of the experts in the testing field. We have Dr. Juan Rosario and we have Shantay Martinez. They are both with Integra Labs and currently doing a ton of COVID-19 testing. I'm going to let them take over.
Absolutely.
Dr. Rosario, I'll let you start since you're the main guy.
You got to unmute yourself.
Unmute.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Do you have your mic on? Unmute.
No.
Still can't hear you.
Yeah, see if it's turned down. Or, okay, that sounds like you almost had it. Well, until he get it's, then let's hear from, okay, you got it?
Not yet. Technology is great when it works.
Absolutely. Let's hear from Mr. Rosario. What about, we can let her come on right now while he's getting his technical difficulty together. Okay.
Hi, how's everyone doing today?
We're doing fine. We're safe.
Okay.
Good to see you. My mask is over there. I do have, yes.
Okay.
Everybody has those.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. We have been doing quite a lot of COVID testing every day. It's scary actually how many positives and that we're getting depending on which state we get samples from. So I mean, everybody really needs to be cognizant of the fact that it's spreading still, obviously, and we're just trying to do the best we can, get results back to people as quickly as possible so they know that they have it and they can stay away from others and quarantine and things like that. I don't know how it is where you guys are. I know here it's the numbers are just rising weekly. So
well, we're in Washington D.C. and our mayor has been very dogmatic in terms of making sure that we do what we're supposed to do here in terms of wearing the face masks all the time. And if someone don't have a face mask on, they call the police. They want to know who it is. Because right now, some people mad about the fact that they don't feel they should wear a face mask. But then again, whether you have some kind of pre-existing condition or not, we don't know. Only thing we know, you don't have a face mask on. And I always say the problem with having rights, that you can have so many rights, you don't have no rights at all. So we have to be very careful with that. Also, I want people to understand that this is the norm is gone. And we talk about all that all the time, don't we, Robert?
We talk about it all the time. And I think it's a tragic that the face mask wearing has become a political football, and as so many things have become politicized during this season. And I think this is a tragedy. I think that the fact that 40 to 50% of people are asymptomatic, and so people are walking around not even realizing they have the disease.
Exactly.
And so those kind of when you start politicizing something that could be a life and death issue, I think we've gone into a sunken place as a country.
I agree. I mean, and that's what I was going to say about the asymptomatic. You know, I've had several people call me and say, but I feel fine. You know, I've been here and I've been there. And I'm like, you know, it doesn't matter. I know they say that you're not contagious, but I don't understand how if it's in the droplets, you know, that come from your mouth, or that if the virus is in there and it gets on somebody else, then how is it not contagious? Whether you're symptomatic or not. That's okay. That's all I was going to say about that.
and I always say to people, I wouldn't want to risk my life, you know, to see if you're wrong. I don't understand the doctor. Did he get your mic together yet? I think you should.
We have to reboot.
Yeah, reboot and just reboot. We here. We're gonna be here. Lisa, I mean, so what's the census up there? Because I know Pat up there in Buffalo. I know y'all up in that same area. Is it going down or up? Because 1 minute the news they says it's spiking, and then the next time they say it's not. So what's the census there, Lisa?
I think right now we've been pretty steady and stable here in New York City. I do know some of the surrounding states that also were steady have seen an increase. I'm assuming that's coming with the testing, and the more testing that they do, the more positives they're going to find. Also, people who feel fine, just like Shantay mentioned, and then they get tested and then realize that they have, you know, COVID. So as far as how, I'm not sure, you know, obviously the more testing we do, the more numbers are possible to go up, you know.
Right. And that's why I don't think 45 want to do the testing, because he made a comment, well, when we test people, it goes up. But duh, you know, you're finding out that more people are infected. And I guess I think he just don't want to deal with that. And that's the realization of it. He have to understand that we need to know, because if some people do get tested and they do come up with something, which I don't think they will for another few months from now, around I think November or something. All the GMs ask me all the time, can we get a date? And I say no, because I don't want to give a date and then people excited about that date, you know, Robin, when that date comes, we have to pull it back again. So we're not going to do that. And we have people on such as yourself can tell us the significance of the testing. Could you expand on that a little more?
There's different types of testing. Of course, you have the rapid test, which is not as specific as, say, the DNA, the PCR confirmation testing. The rapid tests are good, if you need a quick answer. They're only about, they say about 70 to 78% accurate. So you could be getting false negatives, false positives. We actually do the confirmation testing. It's a swab and it's DNA. And you get, with us, our results, our turnaround time is between 24 and 72 hours. We try to do 24 to 48, and we have priority, for healthcare workers, police officers, fire department, anything like that. So we do try to get the results back as quickly as possible for everybody, but especially for those that are, in with the population that, like nursing homes, retirement homes, things like that. But the PCR testing is 99% specific. You will have some false negatives just because some people are in the early stages of infection. So it's not going to show up until a certain point of the infection. So people need to get tested again. If they're feeling badly, if they have some of those symptoms of no taste, no smell, things like that, and they get tested and they're negative, they need probably to get tested again just to make sure that they were not in the early stages of infection and it was missed initially.
Yeah, Mr. Gatewood gonna pull on your pants leg, and I'm gonna pull on the other one. So I'll just ask you now the significance of this. What would you say? I think it makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes more sense to of the two testing. Why not just the one with the DNA would be seem like more 99%, or should I say 100% accurate as opposed to the other one? So why take that one at all? I think it's just prolonged stuff, and it just confuses people. I and listen to what you said, if I'm correct, I think we need to concentrate on that one more, and they should just do away with the other one. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not pretending. That's what we got you experts on here. But I'm gonna drill you.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right about that. The main reason people do the rapid test is because all the labs that are doing it are great. Some of them are overwhelmed. Some of them are, I guess, above capacity, so they're taking longer to get results back. Sometimes that happens. It's not, like I said, it doesn't mean they're a bad lab. It just means they're very busy. So if you can't get results back for 7 to 10 days, which is not good, a lot of people are doing the rapid test, and that's why.
Okay, and I know Robert gonna get in there. Go right ahead, Robert. Because I know you have a lot of questions. That's how.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of quite a bit of temperature tests within the drive-through where you stick the thing up your nose. And now, is it that people are doing these tests just to say that we've done something, or does the temperature test give you an accurate indication of whether somebody may be infected or not? Because I noticed that a lot of people, they're having rallies, they're doing concerts, they're doing this, they're doing that. And I know there's this desire to say we did something. We actually tried to slow the spread, or at least isolate people who had some type of symptoms. But how effective are these various tests?
Well, I mean, it is a valid point to take somebody's temperature. That is one of the symptoms. However, not everybody is symptomatic. That's the problem. And a lot of people are saying don't test asymptomatic people. But what if those people are the ones that are out there making the numbers go up, the ones that don't have symptoms, that don't have a fever?
Well, what do you think about the CDC? They just came out, I think today or yesterday, saying that now you shouldn't test people that don't have symptoms. That's kind of contradictory to what we have been believing for the last 4 months. And now, is that somebody yielding to political pressure? Do they have some information that we didn't have before? I mean, I know you're not in their minds, but what do you think's behind this sudden change of heart?
Yeah, that's concerning. To say the least. That was very concerning to me when I heard that, because I just don't understand how an asymptomatic person is not contagious, and how I would be more afraid of an asymptomatic person and would rather test those people, to find out, than somebody that I know sick that I'm going to stay away from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
if we sick,
maybe it's political. A lot of things are, as we all know. Juan, what do you think?
Well, honestly, that's one of the biggest problems that we're having right now, and it's the fact that people that are asymptomatic are moving around without any kind of difficulties. Those are the actual focus of spreading this virus.
Yeah,
And the fact that if we decide not to test a person because it's asymptomatic, we are making one of the biggest mistakes.
I agree.
That person could be the one that by the end of the week can spread the virus to 10, 15, 20 person. And if we go exponentially from that point, we are basically repeating ourselves on the same problem, increasing the number of positive cases and maybe leading the infections to some people that will be critical.
Yeah. And it's not just elderly people that are going to the hospital and having difficulties. It's younger people. I'm seeing people in the hospital that were born in 1991. I mean, it is obviously they're more susceptible, elderly people, but it's not just elderly people that are getting in the hospital because of this disease.
Lisa.
Yes, with that, speaking of younger people, they've seen an uprise with children.
Mm-hmm.
You guys seen that with your testing?
I mean, we've seen all ages. I've seen, a lot of children, and that's how the parents end up getting it, or the grandparents. Very young children I've seen in some aspects, but it's a range. I mean, it's anybody is susceptible to this. No matter who you are, you can get it. Young, old, 25 and thriving and all that. Anybody can get it. But I mean, we've seen a wide range.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Lisa. I didn't mean
I was just going to add that it seems, I think that in the beginning, when they said that only elderly people were susceptible, everyone felt like, oh, well, that doesn't include me. So
Right.
I think the obviously still so much of it is unknown, but everyone keeps getting contradicting information. One day, masks work, next day they don't, and they're actually harmful for you.
Right.
It would be nice to have a clear cut protocol for everyone to follow, including, I would assume, the testing for everyone. And how available is testing? Are some communities still having difficulty getting approved to get tested?
Some, yeah. I mean, and not only is sometimes the testing difficult, the testing becomes difficult because the labs cannot get supplies. There's not enough swabs, or there's not enough, even plastic bags that the specimens are shipped in. I mean, there's a shortage of everything for this. So it's not just, the labs are behind, it's the labs cannot get what they need, which is a problem. I mean, it's a problem. They allocate certain numbers to each lab. We'll send you 200, we'll send you, 1,000, that kind of thing. So it makes it difficult. It makes it very difficult.
So that's where the government come in at. They say they're doing all of these wonderful things, and it's obvious they're not doing it. And we do not have, and we put all the emphasis on you guys, doctor. And if you don't have the stuff you need to combat this virus, it makes it difficult. Not only that, what we have, we appreciate y'all coming on because we have the whole MFL nation watching this. This is global, and we have GMs that 32 GMs, and they buckled right to the show because they keep asking when we're going to go. But having people of your caliber on the show, man, they can listen. And it's not just the executive board and Robert holding them up from going out and had the combine because we take this seriously. We don't want nobody to get sick, and it ain't worth nobody live football to be here when we gone. We want to make sure everybody healthy, and we want to take the right measures. We don't want to gamble with nobody life. And I was really upset when I don't know why they having kids come back to school. When they got down there in North Carolina, the kids started partying like it was nothing going on.
Yeah.
And you had this big
Yeah.
outbreak of the virus. Now they're sending these kids back home to older people my age, and you know what's going to happen there. So it makes you wonder, you know, it always has to go from the top. Who's making the decisions up there? I know you guys can only do what you can, but I'm just want to put this to the doctor. I mean, I know that you doing a lot of things, sir. I mean, if you could just tell, you know, because I want everybody to have a clear understanding. We don't pretend to be doctors. I would not address any subject in the medical field. And thank the fact that we had you guys to come on and tell us, you know, why they need to understand the significance of this virus and what's so important about, you know, what we doing is the right thing to do.
Well, one of the things that I would like to really point out is the fact that a lot of time we don't think about the people that are around us. And we might feel ourselves okay. We might try to enjoy one moment like it happened in some universities. But once we go back, there are people that are more susceptible than us that we are going to be affecting. Unfortunately, a lot of time we don't see the reality of this virus until it gets close, until it touches one of our own. And a lot of time, that moment is a little bit too late.
Right.
So if you don't want to regret doing something, just follow those simple steps. Be careful, wear your mask, keep your distance, protect yourself. That way you'll be protecting others. That's the best thing that the entire community can do about it.
Right. And I agree with you about the school as well. I mean, that's putting a lot of responsibility on our children to know and be aware of each other when they're not. I mean, that's just not in their, when you're 5 or 6 years old, you're not paying attention to, are you 6 feet apart? You know, you just don't, that's putting a lot on them. And if they do happen to get it and take it home to a grandparent that they live with or anybody for that matter, you know, that's risky, I think, letting them go back to school.
And then, like I said, I appreciate Lisa having y'all to come on and stuff, and we're going to enjoy this. My GMs, when we have the meeting tonight, I can fold my arms, Robin. We can, you know, we had the experts here. It's important that people understand that this virus is hard to really say where it comes from, and more importantly, we understand the danger of it, but why would you say people not taking this as serious? I mean, young people, and then we have to be mindful. We thought that way when we was young, that we was invincible, and you know, we catch a cold and we cough it off. That was one of my questions. The other one about this so-called new vaccine. If you, doctor, answer the first question first and then get to, because this vaccine, I'm lyric about it. I never take flu shots, no way. I'm educated enough to know that that's a virus going in your body and your immune system has to fight that. So I'm very knowledgeable of that. But now they supposed to have this new virus. Are y'all familiar with it and heard of it, or what's the census on that?
I have heard about that new vaccine, and in my personal view, I have my precautions of it. It's being shown that the antibodies last only for 2 months.
Oh.
If that's actually your own body immune response to the virus, is this vaccine going to be trying to reproduce an infection? It's going to be something that it will be repeated. You will need to get it like in a tighter type of form, so you'll trigger your body to believe that it's going to be a constant exposure to that virus, so that will maintain then the antibodies. Or how is that going to work? Is this something that will work like the flu shot, that you take it once and probably 2 months later you will be at risk again? So there are too many questions still pending for us to be able to have a clear clue of how that vaccine is going to work.
Right. I agree. I'm not going to take it. So, I mean, it's you never try anything new, no matter what it is. I mean, it's scary. It is scary. And if you're just going to get sick or be susceptible again in 2 months, I don't really see the point. So,
Robert?
Well, I was thinking that we have all these competing pressures. I mean, I'd hate to be an educator right now, and you're kind of in that same position, Dr. Myles, where you have to make these decisions today that's going to affect people 3, 4, 5 months down the road. And if we only had a crystal ball, it would be so easy.
yeah.
But we don't know if it's going to, I mean, 6 months, we may be where we are now or even worse. So these are very, very difficult times. And then we have the political pressure, and then we have human nature. Human nature, I think, is one of the biggest factors right now. People are just fatigued. They figure when something, it's like when you get a cold, whether you're well or not, you figure after a couple of weeks, you got to go back to work or go back to school because time is up. Unfortunately, this virus has proven itself not to have a timetable. It's not going away in a month, in 2 weeks. It's still here. And people's human nature is saying it's time to be over. So I think what we're seeing with these young people, what we're seeing with industry, commercials, all these different institutions, they're just tired. But I wish I had a quick, easy answer because myself, I'm a business developer. My job is to tell companies to go out here and make money and to bring in customers. And that's run anathema to what I actually do. So at the same time, I'm telling people to be cautious. I'm telling them to get on Zoom, to take virtual steps on their websites and technology. I understand, but this is a very difficult time. We are in a pandemic. We haven't seen one since 1918. And so it's not like we had one 2 years ago. So there are some things that we're going to have to do today that we've never done before. And we may never do again in our lifetimes. But that's the seriousness of it. And that's what I think people are not doing right now. It's almost understandable, but it's regrettable at the same time because of the fatigue, the politics, and the livelihood factor. People still have to eat and work. We can't get around that.
You're right about that. I think a lot of people are flippant about it because they do see some of the people that get this are fine in a few days or a week or two. And I think they think, well, if I get it, then I'll be fine too. What if you're not? What if you're not?
I have a personal example. I've given this example. Many people have said, well, I don't really know anybody who got it or they got it and they got well in a couple of weeks. Well, a very dear friend and one of my clients of 20 years, he got it. 3 weeks later, he was dead. He was gone. And so if anybody needs an example of how real this is, I can say his name, Patrick Ellis. He was here in the DC area, a popular radio host. We had just done a training on his new website a few weeks earlier. He texted me from the hospital and said he has COVID. It was almost like, well, okay, I got COVID, but I'll be back. We'll get back on our training when we're done. Well, of course, he never made it out of the hospital. He was on the ventilator and he passed away. So I can honestly say to many of the people who are dismissive, you can use my example of how real this is. This is not a plaything. This is not something that the other people get or somebody in a distant community. It could hit anybody at any time.
Yeah, you're right. You don't want to wait until it hits somebody you love.
And I'm genuinely, the MFL is genuinely concerned about everybody a part of it, not just the MFL nation and coaches and players and front office. Like Lisa, she moves around. And so that makes me particularly afraid for her, I just don't want to get a call, that kind of call, if you know what I mean by that. And I know she's very healthy and stuff, but I'm really concerned with this virus because no one knows what it is. Right. That's the most dangerous part of this. No one knows what it is. They just gave it a COVID-19. I mean, they're going to say COVID-33. Yeah. But what is the nature and the origin of this? And I'm glad I have experts like you, people such as yourselves here, but as best you can, kind of make me somewhat ease. And I know that's hard to put on you guys, but I'm looking for, I'm not childish and foolish enough to go out there and say, well, things got to be over because I'm tired. But can you make me a little at ease, just a little bit? I have 5 grown adults and 17 grandkids. And Dr. Olawale said, you know, he was going, I said, I haven't been out yet, Fortune 500 company and everything. I said, well, maybe just move around a little bit. He said, no, because we got to be the ones that tell the story when it's gone. So thinking like that made me just wonder. So when y'all came on today, I was real anxious that, and I was going to ask you that question. Anything to make us feel at ease about this?
Juan?
Wow.
Anything to look forward to? I mean, if that's being fair, because we realize there's no crystal ball. That's thinking about a perfect world. It's hard to be perfect in an imperfect world. We understand that, but science is so evolving that. But I just want to feel some kind of good. Give us a little, if I may be that forward, give us something that we can grab or just say, okay, because you are the experts in this, and that doesn't mean that you're supposed to come up with a solution. But in the foreseeing future, do you see anything other than Fauci said this thing might get worse before it get better?
Right.
So can y'all feel help me to?
Unfortunately, I agree with you and I agree with him. Like you was said before, human nature is one of the biggest problems that we have. If we, for once, work as a one nation and look together toward the same goal, we might be able to slow down this pandemic, allowing science the time to come up with a solution to this problem.
Because it will.
Otherwise, we will have is we're going to get to a point on which we will find a plateau and it will go and increase again. So we have to keep tight at this moment so we can provide some assistance to science, give some time. We need to buy some time for science to be able to find out a cure for this virus.
And I got to play devil advocate before Robert come in and Lisa. That's the big question. And what you just said, time. That's something no one possessed, but we constantly giving it. You know, constantly giving something that no one possessed. And I say that to say, not to, you know, be, oh man, he just messed up our day.
Yeah.
Time is something, do we really have? We hope we do. I know that. But what you said is correct. We have to give it time. But time is so, when you think about that, the expense of time is bad within itself. But being realistic, I understand that makes sense. But I'm trying to find something good out of this, Robert. Help me, please.
Well, Miles, I would say if there's any silver lining in this cloud, we've had opportunity to reconnect with our families. We've had new business opportunities that have evolved from this pandemic. My company is doing extremely well during this pandemic. And I hate to say that at somebody else's expense, but I'm providing a service that's helping people navigate these technical and web waters. So it's not that I'm profiteering, I'm actually providing a service. But also it gives us a chance to pivot and learn new skills, to reach out to people, to be more giving and loving and sharing of ourselves and our capabilities. So I have been, personally, I've found some nuggets in this darkness, some light at the end of the tunnel. And I think we have to look within ourselves to find that bright spot, because outside it is kind of dark. It can be very gloomy. So if I would say we're not going to find a bright spot in the pandemic itself or the disease, but we do have opportunities now to do things that we can elevate ourselves. And so when we come out of this pandemic, we can be better people. And so we're more, if nothing else, we'll be more prepared for the next crisis that comes along. And we can help level some of the inequities in society. So this is an opportunity for us as a society to do better. And if that's a bright spot, I mean, I'll take that any day of the week.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's helped us appreciate time. Like you were talking about time. I think it's helped us appreciate the time we do have, you know, and when you're stuck in your home for months and you have to realize, you have to self-reflect. I think that's you're exactly right. I think I agree.
And I think we all, we fighters. I'm a fighter, but I like to know when I'm fighting. I want to know who the enemy is. If I can see it, touch it, and feel it, I'm more confident in what I'm doing. I think you all understand that. And I just want to get to Lisa because I know she's sitting there thinking that's just me. I can only fight what I see, and I'm a fighter. And everybody getting cabin fever, but we can't panic. But because life goes on, we understand that, and it will go on regardless. But this normalcy is gone, and Lisa, we all doing the best we can. Even with you and people in the medical field, I commend you guys for what you're doing. I don't think you get enough credit, but I'm one that I'll listen. So hopefully I'd love to have you back on again. But Lisa, I know 1,000 things going on in your mind. Hopefully this can get where it is safe enough to do anything, because I know we got to just reinvent the wheel. In this case, most, the old saying, you can't reinvent the wheel, but, we're going to have to try to do we have to be more innovative,
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually going to touch on that. With the time that we all have, hopefully people use it to reflect and also to reinvent themselves. I don't think anyone really prepared themselves for this to last so long. We were all thinking by the summer everything would be open and back to normal. Yet we have families who live month to month, and those who have enough saved up, we, like you said, we like to know what we're fighting, and right now we're kind of all still walking in the dark. So no one quite knows when we're going to come out of this, and I think that forces people then to be a little careless, to jump the gun, to start to get into things a little too soon. And although I've been out, I've gone to visit in DC, I am super vigilant about wearing my mask. And even if I'm in a large group of people and I feel like I don't have enough space, I put on a pair of glasses, because I do know that they've even mentioned that, you can get it through the droplets through your eyes. So just today, you heard on the news that they're wondering if 6 feet distancing is actually enough. So people are really at a point of desperation now. We have some families who need their kids to go to school so they could go back to work, put food on the table. I think we really, really need to come together as a nation, like you mentioned, Robert, to help each other, to try to support each other, and, help each other get through these times and how to navigate through them, whether, helping get someone a meal, or groceries or something. I think right now that's the best thing. I know we have a lot of players who keep writing in, when are we going to start? When are we going to have, the combine and all? And so really, you see some sports opening up, you see some are having to shut down. There is no clear-cut solution to this. It seems like maybe those teams that have a bubble where they're able to keep their players all within a bubble, maybe. But even that's not 100%, Now you're relying on everyone. Everyone needs to take their part and wear their masks and be vigilant.
Well, I
Man,
want to
you're right.
pull on you again, Doc. Not y'all go easy. The census said, give us from a medical standpoint and view what's the best right now. I understand about this, and I'm just hearing about the lipstick with the eyes, and so these masses are really not as protective as we think they are. What would you suggest that MFL Nation and everybody else, what would be the best besides? So we need more than this face mask. It's obvious. And now you're saying we need, because I saw somebody with a, look like a
face shields.
A face shield.
Yeah. So could you tell us what you suggest would be the best measures in terms of to protect us from each other? If you didn't mean that in a bad way, but from y'all, so I can say, well, they said to do it this way, you know.
Right.
No, these just recommendations what we can provide right now. A good mask, like you said, not every mask are the same, but a good mask it will be good. Maintaining some distance, cleanliness. That's basically all we can do at this point. A face shield, if you can have one, it will be a good idea. Because not only that, but if you have the virus, like for example in sports, you're sweating also, but you talk, you may cough, those particles will go into your sweat. That sweat will spread. Either way, it's still, those are particles that are moving around in a fluid. So you can be spreading it out.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people say the mask is to protect you from giving it to someone more than protecting you from getting it. But I always wear mask and glasses if I'm, out anywhere like that. But a face shield, I mean, they're not the prettiest things, but they're more protective, obviously. I mean, they go all the way. So.
Well, I always say beauty fades, dumb is forever.
That's true.
Robert, I know now we learned something new. We can say, Robert, I know you had some questions you had put to the doctors as well.
Well, of course, I have to always inject the commercial aspect of it. And I've seen face shields. There's several stylish models that have come out. Some people are putting their brand on it. So what is that? Good old American ingenuity, capitalism will find a way. And if that's what it takes, though, to get people to participate, I say more power. Because I went out today and bought a mask with my logo on the side of it. And so what I'm going to be doing is trying to encourage people through enterprise, through innovation, through commercialism to comply. So if that means putting your logo on the side of it, if that means making it attractive, anything, like Malcolm said, by any means necessary, whatever it takes to get people to take these safety measures, if that means approaching it from vanity, from commercialism, I say let's do that. And that's where I'm going to inject myself into the conversation by saying, look, hey, it's cool. Use consensus, social proof. Hey, look, this is cool. Let's put your logo on. Let's get some style going on. Anything it takes to get people to follow these guidelines and to stay safe.
Yeah. Well, and it's actually clear, so you can see your whole face again.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't hide that. But Dr. Freeman, they were doing the upstate New York where they were doing the face masks, the gloves, and the wash stuff. The MFL was a part of that, which was great and is still going on. And I saw his face mask with the charges. I saw him sneak that in. I know you've seen that.
Right.
I know you've seen that, Lisa. So, but like anything to help people to do the right thing, which we know that we're not all the time going to do what's right. We're just not going to do it. But I am very excited about this conversation. I need this conversation again with y'all. Hopefully we can get y'all on. You know, we get Lisa to try to get you guys on. We realize how busy you are, and I appreciate the fact that you take time to give us some information that we as the league cannot really tell people, because I never was the type to tell people about something I don't know. I'm not going to do that. So I'm very appreciative of having you guys on, but still, I still have to ask you, in closing down the league, when we shut the league down, and a lot of people thought that we was wrong for doing that, and the other leagues went on, and now that you notice more and more colleges are shutting down and stuff, I think what I bet on, we did the right thing. And asking you in the medical field, we just pulled out. Of course, there's a lot of revenue laws, but I mean, I've never seen a Briggs truck behind a hearse, meaning you can't take it with you. So making it and you're not being here don't make sense to me. And not to bash any other league, but I just like the fact that the colleges follow suit and more realize the danger in this. And maybe you can expand on that, Doctor, in terms of the different universities, the ones that still being stubborn, and maybe if I'm correct to use that term.
Well, like I said before, the biggest problem here is nobody will take it serious until they hit someone of their own. And right now, I congratulate those that have put the safety first, because that's the only way that we can prevent any more losses.
So I guess, Robert, see, we was right, Robert.
Yep.
You comment on that, Robert.
It's the most responsible thing to do. I mean, I think that was responsible. I mean, and that's the key. Money's important. We all love money, but how important is it when it comes to somebody you love and losing their life? You know, it's just it's that important. It's that strong. You know, so I think it's responsible to shut some things down in spite of loss of revenue.
Yeah, you see, Lisa, we was right, Lisa? Huh?
Yeah. No, I agree. If everyone, like Dr. Rosario mentioned before, if they're able to be compliant, and if everyone pulled their part, was being responsible. But we live in a world where, everyone has their own opinions and thoughts. Still till today, people say, this is really not even a thing. They compare it to the flu and how many lives have been lost. We're coming up to flu season now. And so it's going to be, I think, interesting to see what the fall will bring with the flu season coming. People are going to be confused. Is it COVID or is it the flu? It will be interesting, and only time will tell.
And we can tell.
That's a good point, Lisa, because now if people get the cough, niggas, oh my God, I got COVID. I mean, that is really going to be confusing. So that means in all the healthcare department going to get a big run on, because people don't know. They really don't know, because we have not identified this virus yet. And that's the most dangerous thing about this. And I'm concerned, and I know you guys are concerned as well. And like I say, we appreciate having you on so much, and we can't thank Lisa enough. I mean, that's the great thing about the MFL Nation. We work as one. We don't have no one person make a decision. But tell us about how we can reach you, Dr. Rosario. Tell how people can get in contact with you all.
Well, I will leave that to Ms. Shantay Martinez. She will be the best one that can provide you with that information.
Okay.
Yeah, I can send that to you. It's Integra Labs. That's where we work, and that's
okay.
The ones Dr. Rosario and his lab staff, and then toxicology and my staff. We're trying to do the best we can to help people fight this quickly and as soon as possible. That's been our main goal. We don't want to indulge everybody and say, yeah, we'll take every test that anybody wants to send us, because then that's when the turnaround time suffers and your results don't get back quickly. So that's what we want. We want to get the results to everybody as quickly as possible, so they can stay safe.
Well, we're a big league, and we're glad we can partner up with you guys. Thanks to Lisa. Well, we have a lot of people here. Lisa, how can they get in contact with you? Not that they don't know, but we'd like to,
Well, they could always send an inquiry into the MFL is here, or they can reach me on my email, livefitk@gmail.com. It's livefitk@gmail.com. They can follow me on Instagram, livefitk, and always reach out to MFL is here.
thank you. And Robert, which are our co-hosts that do so much, Maybe
Thank
Robert,
you.
invite them on your show as well.
Indeed. Thank you again, Dr. Myles, and John and Shantay and Lisa. Once again, pleasure sharing the stage with you today. And much hats off to your folks back in Integrity Labs, allowing you to get away today to share this time with us. I can be found on marketingpulpit.com, where I produce the show every week at 10:30 on Friday. We have a very big and vibrant audience, and we'd like to invite you guys to come on and share your information with us as well. And for my company, Gatewood Marketing and Web, we're very busy helping people into the digital space and navigate these waters, getting people from brick and mortar online. So we've been very busy, and I feel blessed, and really just hoping that we as a community can go out here and lift people up, share, and bring ourselves together. Like Warren said, we got to come together. We're going to beat this thing. So looking forward to more cooperation among people, and people just stay safe. So thanks again, Myles.
Well, we thank you for having us. I mean, you guys have been a pleasure to meet and talk with. And Lisa, thank you for bringing us on. And it's been nice. So Integra Labs is a fan. Now
thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you for joining us and taking the time out from your day. I think the takeaway is testing is key with a quick turnaround time. To provide people with the information so that if they are tested and they realize and they get their results back quickly, if they do have it, they know then to stay put and quarantine. Obviously, in the waiting game, some people feel fine and they get tested and still go out and about. So, I think testing as of right now probably is the key for, combating this.
I agree. And the fast turn, and getting your results quickly. That's one of the main things. So
yeah,
absolutely. And I want to thank you all for being here today. You can also get in contact with the MFL. Our website is mflishere.com. We're on all the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. These are the platforms that you can catch us on. And like I said, I don't want you guys to be a stranger. You've been listening to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Dr. Richard D. Myles Sr. Thank you for joining us.